Game day's here, I can hear the crowd. Turn on the lights, fans are cranked up and loud. Red or blue, we wear it proud. Yeah, we love our teams in this border town. Chiefs and Royals, Boo Mizzou, Rock Chalk, Jayhawk, KU. Hear that drum pounding in your feet. Yeah, you're marching to the beat of KC.
What is going on, YouTube? What is going on, Kansas City? What is going on, Jayhawk Nation? And what is going on, everybody? And welcome to the beat of KC. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lucas Murphy, and I'm going to come out the gate and just be completely honest with you. This game 100% absolutely disappointed me. I am thoroughly disappointed in this basketball team. I'm disappointed in the coaching staff. And I'm really just upset to the fact that, and it's not even necessarily that it's UConn, because UConn obviously came in to Kansas and really wanted to win this basketball game. And we're going to talk about all of it. But I think what disappoints me the most is it feels like we got out-hustled, we got out-physical played, we got absolutely dominated in the boards. It's unacceptable to lose inside Allen Fieldhouse, the greatest venue in college basketball. They came into our house and they absolutely sent a message. And Dan Hurley, obviously had his team ready to play. There were some things that were really broken this evening. We had a 4-0 record against UConn that is now 4-1. It snaps a 23-game non-conference winning streak inside Allen Fieldhouse. And Bill Self, who was, I believe, 12-1 against top 5 teams, is now 12-2. Now that's still fantastic, but it's still the fact that you let a UConn Huskies team who is missing one of their best players come into your house and just school you. I'm frustrated, ladies and gentlemen. I am, and I'm going to let that be known. I'm usually very optimistic and positive. This team just lacked the ability to play with a presence tonight. They can't shoot the 3-ball. They don't have anyone right now currently on the floor that can shoot the 3-ball. It is an absolute mystery at what's going on with Darren Peterson. He's dealing with a hamstring issue, but you hear that he is going at practice. He's working his way in, but he can't play. Everybody was saying that he was building momentum, working his way back to play against UConn. He didn't play. Is he going to be available against Missouri? Because that's who you play next on Sunday. So let's go ahead and jump in and really talk about this game. Again, you're going to get a disappointed Lucas in this video. So on a night when every possession mattered, the Kansas Jayhawks simply could not match the physicality, discipline, and hustle of the UConn Huskies. Despite UConn, again, being without a major interior presence, it really was an advantage for the Kansas Jayhawks from that perspective. They were missing a guy that I believe was 6'9", who really is a front runner in scoring points and rebounds. He was not in this game due to an injury. And Terrace Reed Jr. The Huskies still controlled the paint, dictated the tempo, and exposed Kansas's inefficiency on both ends of the floor tonight. Kansas generated momentum from the opening tip-off. The crowd was next level, like we anticipated. It's Allen Fieldhouse, ladies and gentlemen. The student section camped out for days in preparation for this game. The fans showed out. It was a max capacity facility tonight. They were ready. So obviously from the opening tip-off, they played well. They played solid defense. We were seeing some good rotations from Bill Self when guys needed to take a break. You would see guys come in and contribute. One of the biggest ones was Jamari McDowell and Elmarco Jackson, which we'll talk about. Kansas would build an 8-point lead with 8:27 remaining in the game. It felt like they were building momentum. They were feeding off the crowd. But ladies and gentlemen, the struggles would start to emerge as UConn would lock down the paint. They really kind of started changing how they were playing this Kansas team. UConn was shooting the ball. They were trying to score. They were focusing on what they're good at. They were shooting the 3-ball. They were moving the ball around. That's what they do. They really want to focus on having everyone touch the basketball, and they did that. And so what they started to do is they started to lock down the paint and would force Kansas to take inerrant 3-point shots. We were forcing threes. The Jayhawks would struggle to generate rhythm offensively for the remainder of the night. They would go 1 of 15 for almost 8 minutes in the second half. Let that sink in. They would go 1 of 15 for almost 8 whole minutes in the second half without scoring a basket. They finally got a basket off Melvin Council Jr., who drove to the basket, laid it up, and scored a 2-point basket. It's just incredible to see how the dynamic of this game just started to really change. They would finish an abysmal 18 for 51, which is 35.3% from the field. The Jayhawks' perimeter game offered no relief whatsoever, connecting on just 5 of 18 from threes. And I think one of the biggest things is who those threes came from, which we'll talk about. A frigid 27.8% that stalled several potential comeback attempts when they were down. Every time Kansas needed a shot to fall, the rim answered with a thud. And I think one of the biggest things too, before we really get any further, what in the actual hell was that final play that Bill Self either designed up or it just fell apart, to the fact that Jamari McDowell drove to the basket, tried to use his left hand, completely went way off, did not draw a foul, and the ball is merely blocked and just goes right to UConn to pretty much end the game. Perhaps the most glaring was the battle inside. Even without Reed anchoring the middle, UConn dominated the paint, outscoring Kansas 30-20 at the rim. The Huskies consistently carved out space, finished through contact, and dictated the physical tone of the game. They would also out-rebound Kansas, which, to me, is a huge thing because that's what Kansas has been good at. Now, that's something we really talked about in this pre-game kind of video, was the fact that UConn is a very good rebounding team as well. But that is where Kansas has excelled. But not in this game. UConn would out-rebound them 38-32. That physicality translated to hustle points as well. UConn relentlessly pursued offensive rebounds and loose balls. To me, that is something we lack tonight. Whether it was motivation, whether it was stagnation of, or just coming off of the high from Las Vegas, whatever it was, we just lacked the go get it mentality, the diving after the basketball, the loose balls when they're shooting the three and UConn is hitting the rim, it's deflecting and going back to the floor, and somehow UConn would come up with those a lot of the time. And I think resulting in massive margin in the second chance scoring, 14 for UConn compared to just 5 for Kansas. So again, the one that really comes to my mind specifically in rewatching this game is they're attempting to shoot the basketball multiple times at the rim. Flory can't figure out how to grab the basketball. They finally kick it out to the arc and they nail a three. It's just the hustling was just not there tonight. And I think that just really was highlighted for me. Every extra possession extended UConn's momentum, while Kansas repeatedly failed to respond with the same level of effort. It's that magical time of the year again. The minute the boxes come out of storage and the first string of lights flickers on, everything just feels brighter. The smell of pine fills the house. The Christmas tree goes up, and suddenly, you're transforming your home into a full-blown holiday wonderland. Maybe you're climbing the ladder to hang lights on the roof, setting up those larger-than-life yard decorations, or turning the living room into the coziest place on earth. But sometimes, the Christmas spirit outgrows the space you're in. Whether you're dreaming of a bigger living room, for the perfect tree, a yard worthy of your holidays display, or simply a home that better fits your seasonal traditions, now might be the ideal time to find your dream home. Lisa Miller at Lynch Real Estate. With over 13 years of experience and licenses in both Kansas and Missouri, Lisa isn't just selling houses. She's helping you find a place to call home. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, looking to upsize, or selling your current home, Lisa makes the process smooth and stress-free. As a local expert, passionate about building lasting relationships, she ensures her clients feel confident and satisfied every step of the way. Don't wait. Your perfect home is just a call away. Contact Lisa today at 913-579-3246 or 913-369-3000. Or visit lisamillersaleskc.com. Let Lisa Miller at Lynch Real Estate help you start your next chapter. So if you're ready to make a move that matches your holiday joy, Lisa Miller is here to help you find that place where your Christmas magic can truly come to life. The Jayhawks simply found no offensive traction and no interior answer. UConn's effort, efficiency, and toughness, despite missing a key big man, told the story. And for Kansas, the numbers in the paint, a clear picture, too many turnovers, too many missed shots, not enough paint presence, and a costly gap in the hustle. Flory Badunga, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to kind of highlight the individual plays that we saw. Flory Badunga did lead the team with 12 rebounds, and obviously that's a good thing. 12 rebounds for Flory. He would get this 12 rebounds. He could have had many more. but he would only score 11 points, 4 of 9 from shooting, and he would finish with 4 fouls. Melvin Council Jr., ladies and gentlemen, he is a dog. I don't want to discredit the fact that he is a dog. He's helped us win games. He's scored points. He contributed 12 points tonight, but the biggest thing is, ladies and gentlemen, he was 4 of 13 from the floor and 3 of 4 from the free throw line. He would add 3 assists. When Melvin Council drives and lays up the ball, he's at his best. We see that, the burst, the speed, the agility to come off and go to the basket. When he strays away from that, that's where he lacks. When he's shooting jump shots and the 3-ball, he is cold as ice. The sound the ball makes when he shoots those jump shots right now is that thud. We're hearing that. Trey White, to me, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what was going on tonight. I don't know if he ate too much turkey on Thanksgiving and it was still kind of hanging around, lingering for him. He did grab 7 boards, added 8 points, but ladies and gentlemen, he was either shut out tonight or was just flat. He was only 1 of 3 from the floor and 0 of 1 from the three-point arc. For a guy you expect to step up as a leader, who has handled the mic after a win and really kind of is building momentum being that guy, that was just no-show from a guy you really anticipate to have a phenomenal night. Again, I don't know how you don't get up for a game like this. I don't know how you don't show out for a game of this magnitude. He wasn't in foul trouble. He just did not show up tonight. And especially for a guy you needed to step up tonight. You were without, yet again, Darren Peterson. Jamari McDowell, to me, played solid defense, hit 2 3-pointers, really kind of helped you create a lead in the first half. He would finish with 8 points. The biggest thing with Jamari, and the reason why he continues to be inserted into the starting lineup, one is because Darren Peterson's still dealing with the hamstring, but it's the fact that he does hustle. He does go after the ball when it's on the court. He plays extremely good defense. He doesn't take careless shots. He tries to actually take timely good shots, and he contributes. Elmarko Jackson gave you 11 points from the bench. The biggest thing with Elmarko is every time he got the ball, what did he do? If you paid attention to this game, what was Elmarko doing? He was driving to the basket. He would drive to the basket. He was 4 of 9 from the floor, and he would go 2 of 5 from the arc. I think the biggest thing with Elmarko is we're starting to kind of see him crack out of that kind of shell of his injuries. We're starting to kind of see him build comfortability. He's not shooting that, famous jump shot from the baseline that we're used to seeing him do. He has been driving to the basket and laying it up and getting to the foul line. That is what he is good at. And when he does that, he gives you 11 points. He gives you a game that we saw when they played Tennessee. That's what you see in an Elmarko Jackson when he is doing what his game is really polished around. Not the shooting. And yes, I understand basketball. You have to take shots. You have to shoot the jump shot. You just can't constantly drive to the basket every time. And it's how plays design and come about. But ladies and gentlemen, you really have to focus in games like this on what's working. They were getting down low. They were driving to the basket, and they were laying it up off the glass and getting fouled and going to the line. Now, they shut down Flory at times from and they were forcing us to shoot the 3-ball. They really eliminated Bryson Tiller. He did not contribute whatsoever tonight, outside of rebounds. So when they really made that adjustment, Kansas on vice versa has to make the adjustment, and it just did not happen tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'm thoroughly disappointed. I really am. I think that we had this game. I felt comfortable in the first half. I thought, man, they're going to make a run at some point, but Kansas felt like they were going to be able to manage a run, not go for almost 8 minutes and 1 of 15 in the second half. It was just a disappointment. Adds your 3rd loss to the season. And really, there's a lot of question marks around what's going on with Darren Peterson. The day-to-day stuff is kind of a joke because he's been day-to-day for how long? We really need kind of to figure out what's going on with Darren Peterson. He needs to be back in this lineup. You need the number 1 guy, and he's not really considered the number 1 guy right now. They released a thing that showed the top 10 basketball players right now in college basketball. He's nowhere to be found because he's not playing. So, ladies and gentlemen, you need that back. And I'm really I really expected a lot from Bill Self and how he was going to manage this game, and he got out coached. He got out coached tonight by Dan Hurley in your house, in one of the best crowds that you're going to see in Allen Fieldhouse because of the magnitude of this game. I appreciate y'all checking out this video. Let me know if you guys were disappointed. You know, I know a few people commented in my comment section, UConn fans, that, you know, thought this was going to be a great game. It was. It really, at the end of the day, you guys played very good basketball. You played without one of your best players. So hats off to you for coming into Allen Fieldhouse and doing your thing. I mean, that's what really it came down to. Let me know down in the comment section. Make sure you guys smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and I end every video the exact same way because I truly mean it. Have a good day.